everybody. Let me, I'm going to unmute you, but of course you can mute yourself if you'd like. All right. I think that we still have some more people joining us, but we're going to go ahead and get started. Let me see who we have. So there's Millie. Boy, Millie is really working hard over this break. I mean, really, it's great. She's really going to be socialized. Congrats. I'm so proud of you guys working so hard with her. That's pretty fantastic. Done all the things. And there's MJ. Look at that baby. How's he doing?
He's doing good.
The one-day school, right?
Yeah.
But we're going to try to get that up as soon as we possibly can. And oh my God, he's so cute. Hi. And then who's this? Grace?
Yeah, hi, it's Kip.
Oh, Kip, right. And so
we're excited.
Kip did not, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Did not come yet to day school?
No, he was supposed to start like the day after they locked the city down. I know.
Oh my God, it's heartbreaking for these guys. I know, especially for you guys who have these very, very energetic dogs who need so much. Oh my God. And so, so MJ and Kip, they do not have all of their vaccinations as of yet, correct?
Kip got his third round on Monday.
Oh, perfect. Good.
Yeah.
And MJ, where is he in the process?
MJ, he got it on Monday.
His third one?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Awesome. So, and then that means then I guess that you guys just have, basically, you just have rabies to go?
He got his rabies too.
Okay, that too. Okay,
yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So, well, that's good then, because the puppies that I'm specifically especially worried about are the ones that can't go outside at all. So now at least you guys have your third set, so you can go outside. And so, you know, it's also good because we're all the social distancing, so nobody's kind of rushing up on you. But there's all kinds of different ways. So socialization basically is just exposing them to new things and making sure that it's a positive experience. That's basically all that it is. And, you know, we have a socialization checklist on our website, and that is, you know, for normal days, because there are all kinds, it's all about meeting all different kinds of people with all different kinds of things and all of those kinds of things. So, and then going out. Now, you can't do much of that, but the one thing that I can say before we start looking at the household items that you can use to help socialize, and that is that I would do a lot of, since you're walking, trying to find, I mean, even if it's just sitting in your parking, in your driveway, or walking or driving around with the windows down to where you are going to go around to where you see big trucks or, you know, very urban kind of experiences, because that's where they live, right? So you can walk in that now, it seems like all of you have enough vaccinations where you can, but they really do, what we're missing out here are the, you know, loud trucks, motorcycles, alarms, ambulances, all of that stuff is so, so important. When you're walking also, I would introduce a little, you know, a trash can, like those big trash cans. Those are typically pretty scary, those big trash cans. So moving them around a little bit, and let's take a look at those, because those are basically what you're going is, what is everyday life here? You know, what are my everyday things that I'm going to try to help them get used to? So the key to socialization is making sure that it's positive. That's the big deal. And so you may or may not be having, they may or may not care about anything. They may be so independent and so confident. Most of these puppies are actually, that they really don't care about that kind of thing. But it's good to expose them anyway. And I mean, now we have all this time, so we might as well do all these things and help expose them. So the easiest way to make it a positive experience is, of course, associate it with something that they love. Typically, that is food. And so the other, I mean, some of these dogs may also love toys. If they do, great, let's use toys. You know, you can also do both. Maybe, is Millie a toy lover?
Yes, she loves toys, but definitely food more than toys.
Food more than toys, yeah. That's usually the thing. And what about Kip? Is he motivated by toys?
Mostly also food. Like, I'm keeping him quiet right now with
right. Okay.
pieces of food.
Okay. So then usually that's what it is. And so, like we have talked about before, we talked about yesterday. I know some of you were here, some of you have joined us in some of the other ones, but what I like to do is when you're doing socialization stuff and you're introducing new things, it's helpful to, if you find that your dog is not like loving everything, it's helpful to kind of keep a list of which things was he awesome with, everything is totally fine, which things was he like, that's a little bit weird, I'm not sure about that, and which things were he like, oh God, no, don't like that, don't know what that is, don't want to do it. So then we kind of have an idea. So if there are things that, no big deal, don't care, confident, don't care about any of that stuff, then we're going to just use regular kibble, right? Not a big deal. If it is kind of, I'm not sure, but I'm a little brave about that, I don't really care so much, then we could use something like freeze-dried liver or just some regular treats. If it is something that they are very spooked about, then we're going to go to something super high value, like hot dog or freeze-dried liver or boiled chicken or cheese or something like that. So there's levels of things, and that's what you really need to pay attention to, obviously, are the things in your house or anything that you encounter that freak them out. Now, none of you are quite yet, except for Millie. How old is MJ now?
He is 4 months about.
Okay, and Kip also is about that age?
He'll be 4 months next Sunday.
Okay, so Millie is the only one that's kind of getting near to where she might enter what we call a second fear period. And so they have one when they're very, very young, and then somewhere during adolescence, sometimes they experience a second fear period. And so remember, when we talk about anything that they're spooky about or anything that they might be nervous about, the rule is we don't force it, but we don't ignore it. Those are the rules. And so, but if they are, that means that what will happen is suddenly out of nowhere, like, oh, we've seen this trash can every single day, and suddenly it's like, oh my God, they just freak out over nothing. Something that they've seen 100 times before, or a person with a hat, suddenly that totally freaks them out, or weird stuff like that they have seen many times, and you've done all this socialization, then suddenly, oh my God, I'm afraid of that. Is that happening with Millie?
It actually has the last couple of days. Like, as an example, she just started barking at our front door because I think she heard something. She had never done it before, and then we were on a walk yesterday, and she saw, I guess, somebody in front of her and just started barking at them as well. Our tactic was to kind of get her to sit and give her treats and just kind of
redirect her brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you should do, because who knows exactly what the person was. Now, people are, since we're not, meeting people right now, it doesn't matter. But if we were meeting people, and when we do start doing more of that, if something does spook them, just like I think we talked about this yesterday, for those of you who were here yesterday, is this idea that we never ever force them we can't ever force, if they're nervous of a person, we don't get to say, but it's okay, this is a nice person, look at her, she's really nice, if they're nervous of them, they're nervous of them. And so we don't get to force it, and we don't get to decide what's scary to them. If we don't ever go, look, this is just an umbrella, why are you so scared, what's the big deal? No, we don't get to decide. None of us get to decide what's scary to anybody else. So if they're nervous about it, great. And so if she is having a second fear period, usually it doesn't last more than a few days, maybe a week at the most. But I wouldn't freak out about it at all. I wouldn't be nervous about it. It's a perfectly normal thing. But just keep doing the same things that we're talking about. Just trying to make sure, redirecting her brain and making sure that it's a positive experience, and seeing if you can get her comfortable with whatever it is that she is nervous about, or whatever's going on. Okay. Is anybody experiencing anything particular in your home because what we're talking about is, let's prepare for everything that this puppy is going to do for its life, right? Its whole life. So we can't go a lot of places. Oh, what I was going to say is, driving around in your car with the windows down, urban areas, maybe playgrounds. I don't know, there's not a lot of kids playing on the playground right now, but if anywhere we hear children noise or see children playing, things like that. The other thing is that what you can do is, Home Depot is still open, and you can take your puppy to Home Depot. So with social distancing, taking them to Home Depot with very, very delicious treats, because there's for graduation, we usually take them to Home Depot since it's right behind us. So there are all kind of stuff going on over there to help with socialization, all kinds of weird stuff. The door from the garden center into the regular store is this weird, airy, automatic door that's super, super freaky. And they've got all kinds of stuff to do in there. And I don't know what's happening now. It's probably not happening now, but sometimes they have some groups that use Home Depot for walking. So there'll be wheelchairs and things, you know, around. So all of that is really good. And right now it's very good because nobody's going to, sometimes that is bad because the more people there are there, because they will come and force themselves on a puppy that might be nervous of the situation. But the good news about now is that nobody's going to do that. Everybody's going to give you your space, which is really great. That's what we need for them to do. Okay, so I'm sorry, those are the things that I think that you can do outside. And then of course you're walking. Is anybody having anything specific or that they can foresee in the future that they need to get their puppy, specifically something different, or anything that they're having a problem with right now?
Well, for MJ, it's the umbrella. Like,
Oh, okay.
he
Good. I
doesn't
got one
bark,
of those right over there.
yeah, he doesn't bark at it. He tries to run away from me, like if I have it above my head.
What
But
if
yeah,
it's on the floor? Does he care about it then?
when it's on the floor, he doesn't care for it. But when it's above my head, then he's taking off running.
Okay. So that means we're just going to go in increments, right? If he's okay with it on the floor, then we try to figure out how we can go in increments, and we'll look at some of that. I have these kind of ideas for household items. What I don't have that I would suggest everybody do, I actually have some, I just forgot to bring it in, and you may or may not have some, but we have like some very silly hats and very silly glasses and things like that. So putting on any hat that you have, sunglasses, anything that makes you look silly, that kind of a thing, handle them while you're wearing that stuff. We will do that often in Puppy One class. I'll make everybody wear some kind of a hat or glasses or something like that, and while you're handling the puppies. So doing stuff like that. And then I also have, which is interesting, we work with dogs that are have issues with cats. So, you know, stuffed animals that look like dogs, we have these stuffed dogs that we use for the reactive dogs, and the dogs never ever know they're not real. Some of them look so real. And so some of you can buy little cat toys that look really real. I actually bought, it's kind of expensive, but they use it, it's a cat robot. It's really creepy, but he moves and he meows and it looks very, very real. It's really amazing, and it works every single time. So anyway, exposing them to cats is a good thing. If you feel like you need to do it in that kind of a way, then we can. And I'll show him, I've named him Sylvester, but I got him off of Amazon. And I think that they use it a lot for like Alzheimer's patients and things like that, because they brush them and they pet them and things like that. But they look remarkably real. It's like $100, but she rolls over and she purrs and she meows and she blinks her eyes and all that stuff. It's amazing. So, okay, now, everybody, some of you met my dog, Willow, yesterday. She embarrassed me quite crazy yesterday. I've tried to explain to everybody that she is special ed. And so even though she is 3 now, I was explaining a tiny bit about her issues. She was dropped on her head when she was 1 week old, so she had a traumatic brain injury. And then we discovered on top of that she had a liver shunt. Which means she had to have major surgery to help with that. So all of that has been taken care of, but when a rescue asked me to help socialize her at 5 weeks old because she had been abandoned and dropped on her head, I took her, and I could tell already at 5 weeks old that she was not a normal puppy. And so I have worked with her with all kinds of socialization, but the reason I have her with me is because all the other dogs I have around are not going to be afraid. But here's an example of socialization never ending. So sometimes we say that Willow is living in Groundhog Day, because sometimes one day this is perfectly fine and the next day, I don't know what that is. I've never seen it in my life. That's just her life. Even people, things like that. She'll have fights with flowers and sticks and that kind of stuff. So this is an example. So I'm using her because she's more likely to maybe show us some, I'm not sure about that kind of a thing. Rather than, I have Tex, who is obviously grown up in the Channel 2 news station, and he's used to nothing bothers him. He's completely fine with every single thing. So anyway, so did anybody have something to say that they, besides the umbrella, anything else that anybody was having specific issues with? Objects, experiences, anything? No?
We're having kind of more an issue where Kip's just like almost overly confident and curious about everything. So that's been more our struggle. Like, we can't take him further than pretty much down the block because everything is just like so exciting and he has to put his nose everywhere.
Right. He just can't help himself.
Yeah, he's like
It's
too
like
excited.
everything is okay and everything is interesting. That's so, I mean, you know, that's pretty great, but we'll work on reeling him in, right? We'll work on reeling him in, but it is nice that, I mean, and we've got other stuff to help you with that, but it is nice that he's so confident of all the things, you know, that's pretty great.
Yeah.
And every so often you'll see, I mean, we'll have a dog like that and, hi, Millie's looking right at me. Every so often, hi, I see you. You'll have a dog like that, and then suddenly there'll be the craziest thing, and you know, what in the world? Why would you be afraid of that? Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the stuff that I have. So first of all, I'm in a rolling desk chair, and that is something that you can, anything with wheels. So in the end of the day, we want to wheels, anything with wheels, people carrying stuff, people wearing stuff, all that stuff. But putting your puppy in your lap while you're rolling around and spinning around and doing things like that is just an interesting experience that perhaps they have not dealt with before. Willow is perfectly fine with this. She's listening to the tags. She said somebody's there. Yay. So anything like this, anything that you can do, just an office chair moving around like that is interesting. Okay, so let's look at the umbrella stuff. Now we typically, what we typically do for day school is we leave it open like this. We leave it open on the ground. So perhaps with MJ, this is what you want to do to start. Let me get my treats. So if he's more nervous about it being open above your head, then maybe start with it open on the floor, you can see, and then I will make it just very easy for her. You see that? So she's like, oh, I don't know. So I'm gonna just start by kind of moving it around. Yeah, good girl. And just like always, just like we teach you, just like always, you must constantly have a jolly routine. Happy. Act as if. If you don't act like a fool, you're not doing it right. So acting as if, so there's nothing ever, we're having a great time. There's nothing at all to be afraid of. Good girl. So you're constantly telling them that this is fine, this is good. Yay, you're good girl. Look at that, yay, good girl. So if you're able to do that, then perhaps you can do this, right? Then maybe you can do this. So if I can do this, she's like, ooh, that looks weird. So then let's maybe see if they would go under it. Let's do that. There we go. So even she's like, ooh, I don't know. There we go. Good girl. That's a good girl. Yay. And so this is a big deal for them to have choice, right? It's a very big deal. So maybe some of you have heard me talk about this, but it's a very big topic in some of the dog training conventions over the past couple of years, and that is choice. And what they say is that choice, I guess new data from like zoo animals and things like that, what they say is choice is a primary reinforcer, which means that choice is as important as food and water, which is kind of a big deal, right? So meaning that they have to have choice, meaning what I'm letting her do, of course, is get some confidence, go get a treat, oh, gotta go over here. Get some confidence, get a treat, oh, gotta go over here. So she has a choice. I'm not forcing her ever. You're never forcing. You always give them a choice to try to make the decision on their own, because that's real learning and that's real confidence building, okay? So if you could do this, I think that MJ is food motivated enough where you can start doing in increments. Now, if you need to start with it like open, just like that, you know, kind of moving it around, rolling it around, things like that, and then maybe just put some food on it like that and have them eat out of it. There we go, good girl. But umbrellas are a very common one for the dogs. Umbrellas are like, whoa, weird, I don't know what that is. Because of course we don't bring them out until it's raining, right? And then all of a sudden, whoa, what is that crazy thing? Okay, cool. Now, there's some other things that you can use. Now, some of this is going to overlap with the things that we do, like for when Haley's doing puppy gym class and things like that. But there are a couple of things, I mean, just exposing them to different things. So all of us have a bunch of Amazon boxes right now, of course, and just getting them to the idea that I can go in a box or sit in a box at all is socialization, because that is just introducing them to something else. If you have a very confident puppy, then get a long box where they actually have to go in and go all the way in. And then I can add paper to it too to make it even greater. Good girl. So it's going to move when she steps in it. Good girl. Thank you. Good girl. That's a good girl. There we go. Now I'm going to add something scary. So she's thinking real hard. Am I going to get in there with that stereo? See this? She's eating very quickly and stretching her body out as far as she can. Eat it. Okay. There we go. And then you saw the video yesterday that was on Instagram where it was Haley's beagle, who was also very, very confident. But in a box, we put all kinds of objects. Weird objects like plastic bowls, balls, toys, all kinds of things, and then buried the treats under, and then he got in, and moving those things around and forging through all that is confidence building too, because it's weird stuff. So that's a real easy thing to do as well. In the box, the paper, or the treats, or anything that's exposing new things. So she said, I don't want to go in there with that paper in there. That's what she's doing. So that would mean to me, okay, that's something that I need to work on. She's getting a little bit more confident now. A lot of times, if you just hang out and just wait, they will gather their confidence, and then they'll start kind of doing it. So much more so if you try to force the subject. You're like, hurry, come on, let's go. But I just said so. Here she goes. There we go. Good girl. That's a good girl. Yay. Yes, good job. That's it. Now the other thing is these kind of things. So I didn't have any plastic shopping bags, but you guys do for sure. Okay, now here's it. You guys do. So this is just a pen. So first of all, okay, she says, no, don't worry about that. She doesn't care about that. Now, because what you're going to see outside is blowing bags, right? Blowing bags that are dancing in the wind kind of things. Those are often very spooky because, of course, they're bags in the wind. Ooh, what's that? Good, she doesn't care about that. Good, so that would be a very easy one. I'm shocked that she doesn't care about that. So that's what I'm not even giving her treats for, because who cares? Good girl! That's a good girl! Have your dogs been used too close to a fan like that? That's sometimes, that in itself is a weird deal. But you can make things fly with that, which is cool. What about a mirror? Ever about all the puppies have seen themselves in a mirror at this point? Yeah. And how's that going? Anybody freaking out over that? No, they don't care.
Well, I think the most recent one equivalent to that is she sees herself in the bottom of a metal water bowl. And keeps wanting to play with the puppy on the other side.
Oh. The reflection in the metal bowl. That's so funny. Okay, and then let's take a look at things like bubbles. Now, maybe you guys have bought the bubbles that we have doggy bubbles, in a little container, meaning that they are really hard and they taste and smell like peanut butter. If you don't have those, we have them here, but also you can get them on Amazon. They're called pet bubbles. They're really fun. But the other thing we try to introduce the puppies to is just more bubbles. So, there we go. There you go. So if I can go. Good girl. Good girl. That's a good girl. Now, chances are, many of your puppies are going to want to play with the bubbles. She is just like, oh, here, let me just get in there and just avoid them until I can eat something. And that just means that she's tolerating them, so she's fine with it. You can see that she's a little nervous about it, but the food is worth it. The food is worth it. I'll stay here with this kind of weird stuff because the food is worth it to me. This is just a simple bubble machine that I bought online. I bet Millie will chase these bubbles like crazy. This is a really great bubble machine. It creates a lot of bubbles. Does she already chase bubbles?
Yes.
Oh, she likes the bubbles? That's good. But we love the bubble machine. What about Kip? Has he seen bubbles?
I think he saw them when we came for our like one-on-one, but I don't think he's seen them.
And MJ?
Yeah, he loves them.
He loves the bubbles? Awesome. Good.
Yeah.
There you go. Good girl. Okay. And has your puppy now been introduced to the dreaded vacuum cleaner? Anybody have a problem with a vacuum cleaner?
Yes.
Yeah. Meaning that he wants to go after it?
Yeah, he like tries to get it and bark at it and chew on it.
That's funny. He says, I'm not afraid of that thing. So that sent her running. What about MJ?
Yeah, he ran away from it.
Runs away, yeah. So this is what we do, just to start, just to say, so this is classical conditioning, meaning with association with the vacuum cleaner is deliciousness, not a big deal. So if they're really petrified of it, just leave it out and leave it on the ground for a little while. Just leave it out, just so it's just there in the room. It's there all the time. It's there for 28 or 48 hours and nothing even happens. It's not a big deal. And then maybe I can put a treat on top of it. Would you need a treat on top of it? Yeah, what about there? Yes, good. Good girl. Now, can I turn it on when it's down? Good girl. Good girl. So she freaked out. Yay! I see you, Millie. Millie keeps looking at me when I'm talking. So, keeping it on. Now, Kip, obviously, the thing is going to be teaching him to do something else, which is why we're going to work on basic obedience as much as possible. So the idea of, at this point, can you just sit while we just do this? You know, it's still the same thing, but let's just make it very easy for you before it starts moving around and doing all that. Let's just sit, and first of all, let's just do this with the vacuum cleaner when it's doing nothing. Okay, now, can you sit also with it on and it's down? Now, are you okay with it standing up? Can you do that? Where'd you go? Willow. Oh, God, where's she? Oh, she's hiding under the trampoline because the vacuum cleaner is freaking her out. This is a new experience today. Yeah, that's a good girl. Although it's not a new experience for her. This is what's so interesting about it. That's a good girl. Cute. So what I'm not going to do is force her to come out. There we go. There you go. Look at that. Thank you. Good girl. Now, have you guys seen, maybe some of you have already signed up for it, and you probably have learned it in your lesson before you did day school and all that, but the idea of hand targeting, touch, right? You have this kind of idea of what that is. Now, Haley is doing a class. I don't know when it is exactly, but I know it's sometime this week, and it is purely on hand targeting and the advantages of that. Now, I would say if you want, so one of the great things to do with this kind of a situation is teach them to target it. So meaning that if I were to target this, she said no. Good girl, thank you. Good girl. Then I can even use a target stick. I'm just going to give you real quick cliff notes on this because then you can take the class with Haley. But the idea would be is I can get her to target the actual thing that she is nervous of. Good girl. So she obviously knows this. Good girl, Missy. Good girl. Yes. Can you see what's happening? Can you guys see what's happening? It's the bag that's freaking around. Good girl. Good girl. Yeah. That's it. Good. So once you're able to get them to target it, like that's it, then you'll eventually, you can just take it away. The more times you repeat that, you can take it away, and then you're going to see them go and offer that behavior. So they're going to start targeting it on their own, and then we got now a fun relationship with this object. I'm targeting it, and I have control over this world. I can make the clicker go off. I touch it, or yes, whatever it may be, and then that's a really great way to help them get used to things that they are scared of. So if you haven't signed up for Haley's class, then that will go more in depth into hand targeting, and this is called a target stick. Okay? There we go. Now, the same exact thing that we just did with the vacuum cleaner is what I would do with the hair dryer also. We had a couple of people yesterday who were really having problems with the hair dryer, but those people aren't here today. So are any of you having trouble with the hair dryer, or have you been introduced it yet?
No.
Tried.
He hasn't seen it yet?
No, he hasn't.
Kip hasn't seen it yet? I mean, they have hair that maybe they're not ever going to need it. Lots of dogs don't ever need it. But it is something that is in our daily life. Have they seen you rolling your hair with it, any of you?
No, it's quarantine has been a little lax on the mute.
Right, I understand. So already, I just brought this out, even though Willow actually has seen me blow dry my hair every day for almost her entire life. I just put this up and she went, woo. So again, it would be the exact same thing that I just did with the vacuum cleaner, right? If they have an issue, I'll just set it down when it's not, we're on, and then get her to be comfortable with it that way, and then put it on the lowest thing, and put it on the ground. And also use the hair dryer to make things fly. There we go. And that's so interesting that she could care less about that. That's great. So that's interesting, right? So you're going to know what's new, what's weird, and what's not. Okay, maybe you have some toys and things around. So this is just a little thing. I like remote control cars or anything like that. This just happens to be a little bitty motorized ladybug. Willow has never seen this before. Sometimes she gets scared of real frogs and, like I said, flowers and things like that. So let's just see what she has to say about this. She got scared of the Swiffer jet over there. So you guys can see. Actually, I'm going to put it on this. Good girl. You see her watching it? Good girl. She's like, bye-bye, no, thank you. Now, do you think that your puppy would try to get that, eat that? Maybe. It'd be interesting to see, I mean, because it's moving. She's like, that is not okay. Good girl. So good girl. So she just gave me a down because she said, I don't want to get up there. So if you see something like this, so she's not okay with it moving, that's too much for her right now. So I'm just going to set it further away. Distance. Distance is your friend. If they're nervous of anything, distance is your friend. So she's not afraid of the trampoline. I know that. Good girl. So she doesn't want to get up there because of that. So that is another, that would mean I would go, okay, this one absolutely needs work. It's just the experience, not that she's ever going to be seeing this all the time. It's just the experience, because this is confidence building is what this is. Because basically all we're doing with all of the things we're talking about is not only trying to have them experience things in a positive way, but you're trying to ensure, because of what we're living in right now, you're trying to ensure that your puppy is going to remain friendly and confident. So no matter what they are faced with, they're like, that's not a surprise to me. I've seen something that looks like that. That's not a big deal. I've seen something that looks like that. So I would mark this as, oh, good girl. I would mark this as one that needs work because that's really, she's not even willing to even go close to that. That's a good, she says, I will offer you this, but I will not get on that. So that's fine. Good girl. Thank you. That's a good girl. Okay? Now, anything with wheels. If you have bicycles, roller skates, scooters, skateboard, anything that you can find, shopping carts at Home Depot or Goodwill. We have a shopping cart that we borrow from Home Depot, we just keep here. Shopping carts, anything with wheels, because those are big, right? Those are things that they want, especially if they have any kind of prey drive, they're going to want to bark it and chase. Are you having any of those issues yet? With the wheels? Oh, perfect. Well, then what you guys can do, not only are you going to get them used to wheels, but you can start getting them to where we can teach them to ride on a skateboard. Go and order yourself on Amazon a super cheap skateboard. Good girl. So first we're just going to get her to push. Yes, that's a good girl. There it is. One thing that you can do too is you can put palms. You can put calm by the wheel here, and here, so it makes it not move in the beginning. Just getting them used to getting on the skateboard without it moving first. And if any of you are going to do the tricks class, we can do this too. Good. And then just starting to move it. Yay, that's it. Easy. Good girl. Good girl. She said, I don't like that, so I'm just going to wait for her to do that. Good. For kids and the dogs that are super confident and kind of can't, this is redirecting their brain into doing tricks and things like that on the things are going to really help. I think the targeting, being able to nose target with just your fingers and the touch state targeting objects and doing things like this, turning this, turning things into a trick is going to be good. The tricks stuff is really awesome for the dogs whose brains are moving very quickly. So we have, depending on what you have in your life, I mean, for puppy day school, I have a scooter, I have a wheelchair, we have a cart, we have a big, cart to put like supplies on, plus a grocery cart, plus a baby stroller, all the things that we can think of with wheels. So, you may not need all of that stuff, but thinking about in your life, are there things like that that they're going to be exposed to? Bicycles are a good one. I don't have one of those yet. I need to get one to have in the room, just because that is a big one. Usually when we're walking, people are kind of not paying attention sometimes, and they'll rush by with a bicycle, and that will either freak them out or it makes them want to chase it. So skateboards and bicycles are a big one. Getting them used to that. Baby strollers too. If you don't have any children around and suddenly they see a baby stroller, sometimes that can really freak them out as well. So we're just trying to get them used to things with wheels. Things with wheels. Okay. Now I hear a lot of, for whatever reason, the mops. Just the mops when you're trying to clean stuff up. So we're just talking about household items. So if you haven't already, just start bringing out all your household items, things that you use to clean or to do whatever. Maybe you're all doing a bunch of that now. Now we have all this time. So one of the things I was hearing yesterday is that the puppy was having pee-pee accidents, and then mom was bringing out the mop to clean up the pee-pee accidents, and that was really, the puppy was going crazy. It was setting the puppy off in some kind of a attacking mode kind of thing. And meaning every time I brought the mop out, it was a fun toy. And also I'm nervous of it. So I'm like going at it and fighting it and running away, fighting it and running away, fighting it and running away. Is that what Kip is doing with the vacuum cleaner?
Kind of, but it's more like he thinks it's like a game, I think, than attacking. Yeah.
Right. So he's just like, it's like a catch me, this is something for me. Yeah.
That's what it seems like.
Right. Okay. And then If you have a yard, of course, then the things that you are using for any kind of gardening. This is always a very scary thing. I don't know why, that's just big and scary looking, I guess. So this is always a very scary thing. So just doing anything, yeah, good girl. That's a good girl. Again, to remain positive. Good girl. Now, maybe you guys have already experienced this. I know that Millie has, of course, but of course the hose was squirting water, a gun squirting water, a sprinkler squirting water, those kinds of things. Everybody, what does Kip think about the water?
Sorry, I was on mute. He loves water. And
He does. Oh, good. And what about MJ? I know Millie is already loving it, right? And MJ, has he had water yet? Water?
Yeah, he does. He loves it.
He does. Wow, you guys are lucky. All three don't love the water so much. That's fun. So when we can, of course, go get yourself a baby pool because that's just the most awesome thing. And then you can put all kinds of things in the baby pool too. You can buy. We like to buy. We do the ball pit in a baby pool with just the balls, but you can do the ball pit with water too. Put water in and then all the balls also. That's a fun thing you can do as well. Just playing and all of that. So water play. So any kind of tunnel, that's another thing that we do. I want to make sure that the dogs can do every time they come to puppy day school. There's a certain kind of criteria that I want to make sure by the time the puppies are done with puppy day school, they have been introduced to every one of these things at least. And so a tunnel. So if you don't have a tunnel, like a kid tunnel, if you don't have that, then you can get, again, like a big box, open both sides, and you can have them go through it like that. Just any kind of a tunnel situation. Tunnel, water, the bubbles, because oftentimes the bubbles freak them out. The babble ball, which I think all of you saw, is something that usually is like, whoa, what is that thing? It's a weird deal. And then, of course, all the household items. We have a whole category of household items, a whole category of things with roads. All of that. And then things like, can we get up here and then jump, or anything that you are doing to work out. If you have tried to work out at home, you have discovered that it is a joke. Because anytime you get on the floor, that means we're having fun and we're playing. Right? So what we'll try to do is try to teach them to do something else, but also making sure that they're used to all the equipment. That's nothing new. Weights, jump rope, making sure they can stand out of the way where you jump rope. And then the hula hoop, because the hula hoop you can use as exercise, obviously, but then also, Haley may talk about something like this in her doggy gym, because if she hasn't already, because this is really easy to do also. So it's all, I'm exposing you to this. I can hula hoop, and that's one kind of exposure. And then let's just see, can we get you to start jumping over it? I'm assuming that Amazon delivers hula hoops. I don't know how they do that exactly. This one is an exercise one, so it comes in pieces. Yes, good girl. Yay, good girl. Good girl. So, just like that kind of stuff, anything that you have. So the idea is that you are looking at everything you have in your house and also considering what is it that I need this puppy to be used to. Are there any things like, any of you have like a boat or a situation like that where you're not able to, that the puppy needs to be exposed to that you're not able to do right now? One thing that is what we find is something that is important, and this is something you'll do later. I don't know, maybe you can find some way to do it with social distancing, but elevators, I don't think you have to do it for any, elevators are a real thing, because, oh my God, the floor is moving kind of a deal. I don't ever force them to do escalators. I don't do that. We try, I have a therapy dog group, and we do stuff at the Memorial Center Mall and City Center. And those dogs who are grown dogs, who are very confident and who are fine with everything, the escalator is just too much. It's too scary, it's too much. I just find it too dangerous. There's just no reason that they have to do that. There's always stairs. So I don't ever force them to do that. But stairs, elevators, those two things, definitely. And if you have stairs, you have realized that going downstairs is easier. I mean, going upstairs is easier than going downstairs. Yeah. Is Kip, do you have stairs? Is Kip going?
Oh yeah, full sprint up and down. So we figured that out.
Your issue is going to be trying to control that boy.
Yes.
And is Millie going up and down the stairs too? Millie's going up and down stairs?
Yes, she definitely struggled on the going down. But I guess one thing we see is she likes to go really fast up the stairs, and we're trying to curb that. Any ideas on that? Because like normally we're on a leash with her since they're outdoor stairs.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's from you're going up and down stairs to get outside?
Yep.
It's not inside. So,
Right.
You mean you're taking her off the leash and she's rushing up the stairs in front of you?
We have her on the leash, and so we're trying to get her to sit before going up the stairs, but inevitably she is getting confidence and just wants to bolt up the stairs. And then obviously we're on the leash and we don't want her to do that because she doesn't have far to go, so she'll choke herself or
right, and especially at this point, trying not to touch all the stuff, and I mean, oh my God, it's so crazy. Yes, and so this is, there's a couple of memes about this. It's a funny thing about this idea that anytime you have any kind of stairs, once they get confident about it, all the dogs take on a race. The second you get there, they're trying to race up and trying to get in front of your feet and all that. I mean, it's a very, for whatever reason, they all seem to start doing that. My dogs do the same thing. And so what you can do is literally make it into an obedience exercise. So just to start with, it's kind of like the one-step sit exercise.
okay.
Right, when you're doing the loose leash walking, kind of like that, meaning let's take one step and sit. Let's take 2 steps and sit. Let's take 3 steps and sit. So that you're just getting her to try to pay attention to you. Now, if you want to play the game, I mean, if one of you wants to stand up at the top of the stairs, and one of you wants to stand at the bottom of the stairs, you can give it 2 different things, kind of like we were talking about the other day. Like, let's let her, if it's fun for her, then let's do some yo-yo recalls up and down the stairs. I wouldn't do too much because her joints aren't developed yet. But a couple of times, if that's fun, then let's play that game. But when we're going up the stairs and you're on a leash, this is not the game.
Okay.
Right? Just like Catch Me If You Can, love the game, let's play the game, but when we're not playing the game, we're not playing the game. Right? I don't play the game unless I want to play the game. I decide when it starts and when it's over. But that is not any other time.
Okay. Thank you.
Stairs, elevators, yeah, that's about as far as like things out in public, but you'll start to look at different things. Does anybody have any questions or concerns or ideas that you'd like to share with other people or things that you are doing? I think for Kip, that for everybody really, but especially for Kip, since he is so confident for everything, he just wants to go after everything. Because he's still so young. I mean, he's got extreme drive, doesn't he? I mean, he's got unbelievable drive, and he's ready. This is really horrible for him because this is really means that you're going to have to work 100 times as hard because it's so difficult for him because it's going to be, the bane of your existence to try to get him whatever he needs. And so that's why as much of these things as you can do to try to make sure you're doing something every day. And let's just repeat the things that I know that 2 of you were here yesterday and I've done some other classes, but just to make sure, I just want to repeat every single day what the 3 most important things are to do during this time. And that is first doing the handling and gentling every single day, the creating huggable puppies, touching all of their body parts over and over again. And for Kip, that would be really turning that into a relaxation exercise. So if you're doing it every single day, he's starting to learn, okay, we do this every single day and there's no reason for me to squirm or whatever. And then when you start introducing him to people, other people will be able to do that because he's been doing it so much. And then the other thing is, I think it's hard for all of us. I keep asking everybody and nobody wants to do it, and that is leaving them alone. Completely alone, leaving the house. You have to leave the house. Because I do want you to practice, that's what we talked about before day school. That's really, when we're in normal world, that's the most important thing is putting them in the crate when you're home. So doing that, yes, but also putting them in the crate and actually leaving them because too many of us aren't leaving the house anymore. It's going to be a very rude awakening for them. And then finally, of course, anything that you can do. So this kind of stuff here, not only is it socialization, but this is brain work, of course. It's brain work as well. So they're working their brain. So that is also for all of you who have dogs that have drive, trying to figure out how can I create as many different exercises and mental stimulation as much as I possibly can, because that is going to save your life. That is what it's going to be so great, because they're going to become extreme problem solvers very early. Such problem solvers very early. It's going to be frustrating for you on one hand, because they're going to figure out every puzzle so fast. You're just going to be like, oh my God. It's going to be hard to try to make it harder and harder. However, it will help you in all kinds of training when they become problem solvers, because they will start offering all kinds of different behaviors, and that will help you for the rest of their life. It also makes them confident. Because sometimes they can feel like, oh, I have control over the world because I can do things to train my mom, right? I can do things to get treats, I can do things to train my mom, whatever. Or if you say, they'll go, oh, well, let me try something else. Means try something else, do something different, try again, is what means. And so they will, the more they learn, the more they'll start doing that. But problem solving is an enormous benefit for the dogs in their adulthood. But right now, you got to do everything you can, because we can't live in our own world right now. So this is a big one for all of you to be able to do this. If you're not, next week we're going to do a leave it and take it class. And Haley's going to do that, and leave it and take it is important, but what I want her, if we need to do 2 different ones, we will, but I know that almost everybody incorporates the flirt pole as a way to get out big bursts of energy, and so I love doing leave it and take it with the flirt pole, because now we're incorporating basic obedience with the flirt pole at the same time, because that's hype up, settle down stuff too, right? So what we're teaching them is, if I want to teach you to settle down, I have to hype you up very quickly. So doing leave it, take it with the flirt pole is a beautiful thing. So we can get more into that. And if you guys think of something, if you see that you want us to do something, you have a suggestion, you want us to do a class on something, then please just let us know. I think that all of these guys would benefit from the tricks that I'm going to do later. Are you all familiar with the clicker? Yeah. Okay. Yes. Oh, perfect. Okay. Good. We'll talk about it before we do tricks. But the only time we really ever use the clicker for sure is when we're doing tricks. We love the clicker, but sometimes it's a little overwhelming for people in the very beginning. So, but when we're doing very specific behaviors like tricks, the clicker is the best way to go. Okay, so those 3 things, make sure you're doing those every day. That's also why we are doing the puppy task challenge on social media every day, to try to give you an idea of something to do every day. And then when you see enrichment activity on the class, that means that's an enrichment activity that takes more time. The ones on social media are super easy. The other ones are more time, meaning we're going to build something. We're going to make something out of your household tools, and we're going to teach you how to do that. We need more time to do that as opposed to just a quick video. We're actually going to do a segment on Houston Live next week on just that too, on teaching people how to make enrichment puzzles and activities with household items, because it's a thing right now. Okay, guys, questions, concerns, anything? Okay, very good. Thanks for joining us. You guys are doing a real favor for your puppies. You're really doing great. This is going to be good. And I am going to, like I told you yesterday, I'm working really hard to try to figure out, the right way that we can do some puppy day school, because I'm concerned for these puppies. It really is. I mean, the attorneys and everybody I talk to, there's no doubt that this is an essential service, the puppy stuff. Because like I said, the new puppies that are coming, people are still getting new puppies, they're showing up every day. So new puppies, and when they get their vaccinations and they can't do anything, it's a real problem, because we're gonna have some puppies that have some severe behavioral issues because they're not able to do anything at all or meet anybody. So it is actually essential for their well-being, it's the truth. So we're gonna see what we can, obviously we wanna be part of the solution, so it's hard to try to make sure. But curbside service, we've established all of that, no personal items. I think that we're doing it very safely. So we're gonna move forwards and try to see what we can do for some of that to help some of you guys out. Okay? All right, guys, thank you so very much. We will see you next time. Have a good day.
Bye.
Thank you.